If you're trying to figure out how to mic an accordion, this is the video for you. We're going to go over each and every possible way that you can amplify your instrument to take out all the guesswork and to get you out there and performing so people can hear this crazy instrument that nobody wants to hear. Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to teach you how to mic an accordion, how to amplify an accordion for a performance. This isn't always straightforward, so this video is going to take out all of the guesswork, and I know it's a little bit long. I would encourage you to stay through to the very end because you're going to learn every method, the pros, the cons, tips, accessories. This is going to have everything that you need to know. I spent a great deal of time working on it, and if you wouldn't mind supporting the channel, you can support by clicking any of the Amazon links in the description. It's not going to cost you anything more, and I'll get like a tiny sliver of it, but it will help. So just wanted to be transparent about that. If you do have to jump around, I know that time is money and you guys might be late for a gig or whatever the case may be. If you have to jump around, time codes will be in the description. I'll put them on the screen right now, and if you do have to jump around, I totally get it, but I hope to see you at the very end of the video. Thank you so much. Method number one, the traditional mic and stand. This is going to be easy to moderate in difficulty, and you'll typically use this in a situation for an open mic, a small performance, something where you're not going to be really moving around too much because you're kind of tethered to the microphone and your position to that. And speaking of position, if you're using one microphone, you'll be able to mix your signal, mix your bass to treble based on your body position. So if you want a little bit more bass, you move that way. If you want a little bit more keyboard, and so on. Typically, you can get away with one microphone. There's situations where you can use two. When you're using two, we're getting into the territory of recording. I like to use two microphones when I record at home. Typically, this won't cost anything if you're going to an open mic. They'll typically have microphones like this that you can just use, or if you do want to be a little bit more prepared, what I would recommend is the Shure SM57. This is a great microphone, perfect for recording on stage. This is a great dynamic instrument mic, and you can't go wrong with it. Some of the pros to this type of setup is that it's relatively easy to understand. You can make adjustments on the fly. Most sound engineers are going to kind of know what to do with placing a microphone, and it's pretty straightforward. And like I said before, it's relatively cheap. If you are showing up to an open mic, chances are they're going to have some type of microphone that will do the job. And if you do want to get into it and buy your own and be prepared, it's still relatively cheap. Some of the cons to this type of setup is that you have to remain somewhat stationary on stage. You can't really move around. You might get some audio bleed from the environment, and that could also make you prone to feedback. And when you're using two of these, when you're using two mics, it then becomes a little bulky and cumbersome. So again, an open mic situation, more setup, more fiddling around, it could just be a little bulky and cumbersome compared to some of the other options on this list. Some of the accessories you might want to have on hand if you want to be fully prepared would be a good XLR cable and a good mic stand. I typically like to be in that Goldilocks zone, not too cheap, not too expensive, but right in the middle, something with good ratings and something that's going to be reliable so you don't have to buy it twice. A couple of tips you might want to keep in mind would be to kill the monitors. A monitor is a floor speaker that is usually pointed up at you so you can hear yourself as you play. Although that would be nice, it can sometimes lead to feedback, and we want to avoid that. Method number two would be the gooseneck styled microphone. Again, this is an easy to moderate difficulty once you set it up and get familiar with it. This would be great for street performing, open mics, small performances, and I have seen even some of the nicer systems used on larger performances. This system right here is the Kimafun CX710. It comes with two microphones. The wiring goes around the back and leads into this transmitter, and this system right here actually has a built-in wireless transmitter, which is it's a pretty cool feature for such a cheap product. This is one of the cheaper ones. Unfortunately, because it is cheaper, it is prone to a lot of feedback, I've noticed. So it's hit or miss with this. I wouldn't use this in a situation other than potentially just street performing, and honestly even an open mic. I don't know if I would use this for an open mic because there's a lot of room noise, there's sound coming from everywhere, and this can feed back pretty easy. Another system that I would say is a cut above is the Myers systems. They have the Feather 2 microphones coming off, similar to this. And they also have the Grip 6 with bass extension. That's 2 microphones coming off on the grill and then 1 on the bass. I don't know how I feel about this system. I did purchase it, and they rely on mounting it through the use of suction cups. And I don't think that's effective because not all accordions have a perfect finish, and some have a matte finish, some are wood, some are just old and kind of worn out a little bit, and that smoothness that it requires out of a suction cup won't cut it. So with that, you might have to, do some modifications. But some of the pros to this style of microphone is that you're not tethered to a mic and stand. You can move around a bit more freely, and there's a wide range of entry-level goosenecks to very expensive ones. So this one right here, I don't know if I would trust it for every situation. I don't even know if I would trust it for open mics, but some of the other ones, the higher you go in price, the better it's gonna be. As far as the cons go, I would say that if you can live with a semi-permanent rigging system being on your accordion, then that's great. Having to mount some of these mounting devices is going to require you to use these sticky adhesives, and these are a nightmare to get off. Something you can use to get around it, an optional accessory, would be the Gorilla mounting putty, and I believe that this would be a great option. I wouldn't go crazy with like really dancing around and stressing it out, but this will really do a good job of holding it on place, and it's not going to really mark up the accordion like certain types of tape, certain types of adhesive. This is a removable type of putty. It really is extremely strong. So I've used this for several different applications, and I think it would come in handy for something like this. Some of the other systems, you might not want to be tethered to it. I know that Myers system has a 1/4-inch jack coming off of the front mount on the grill, and to plug in a cable right there and then to trust it with a suction cup, I don't know if I would use a traditional cable for something like this, especially if you do want to move around. You might want to look into these wireless cables. It's basically a guitar cable that is wireless, and I would say that some things that you might want to keep in mind in terms of tips would be you can position the goosenecks a little bit more over the bellows if you want to reduce some of the button clatter, and you might also want to turn down the levels, play a little bit louder, and you'll drown out the button clatter, because that will make some noise, and if you play just a little bit louder and you adjust your levels down a little bit to make up for it, you can kind of drown out some of the button noises and the clatter of the keyboard. Method number 3 would be similar to method number 2, although it is slightly different, and these are short-necked, grill-mounted external microphones, specifically made by DJR. They make these microphone systems that are very compact. I've seen Percy from the Mavericks use it. He is a madman on stage. I know if he's using it, it's got to be good. This again would be more of a easy to moderate use scenario. Once you have it installed, it's going to be relatively easy to use. I think some of the pros with this is it's going to be reliable. He's playing massive shows. There's a lot of frequencies and sounds taking place in a situation like that, and it can handle it. So I would say that a big pro would be the reliability. Again, you can move around more freely, and the pricing is a little bit, I would say, moderate. It's not too expensive, it's not too cheap, it's kind of middle of the road, and for that reliability factor, I think it's a good price point. I guess the only really con that I would see with this is that you're going to have a semi-permanent installation. I believe they use Velcro, so you're going to have to slap some Velcro on your grill, maybe on the base side. Can you live with that? I think you could. I mean, me personally, I do a lot of videos and stuff. I kind of like to have a clean accordion, but I think it's something that anyone can live with. Method number 4, we're going to get into stereo miking. This requires 2 microphones. Typically you buy them in a pair and they're matched. This way the signals and the frequencies are dead center on both of them. But this is where we get into a little bit more of a harder difficulty. You have to have know-how, or at least do some research when doing something like this. These are going to be great for professional level concerts, orchestral concerts, and even recording at home. Again, this is a more professional way of going about it, but this is, you know, again, that upper level of recording where it's a little bit more tricky and you have to know the nuances of what goes into this. There's 4 different methods for doing a setup like this where you can articulate the mics generally in 4 different ways. Method number 1 is going to be the XY pattern. This is a great stereo option that will eliminate phasing problems. Phasing is when the sound hits the mic capsules at different times and it just causes this little artifacting that is unfavorable. Method number 2 is going to be a spaced pair. This is great for wide stereo sound, and you're going to want to hard pan the left and right to its proper side in the mix. Method number 3 is ORTF. This replicates the positioning of ears on a human head, and placement is very critical with capsules being 17 centimeters apart and a 110 degree overlapping articulation. Method number 4 is NOS. Placement is critical again with this. 30 centimeters apart and a 90 degree articulation. This is going to pick up more room ambience, so you're going to want to be careful with that. The biggest pro that I can see for using something like this is the sound replication. This is going to sound very natural, very dynamic, very pleasing to the ear. But again, the biggest con is that you can't use this in every situation. Good luck using this at an open mic or street performing or even on certain stages. This is more geared towards the professional concert level accordionist, and you'll probably want a sound guy to be doing this. So we're left with a couple of options. If you're just getting into this and you want to get the stereo pair, I would recommend the Samson CO2. 2 of these cost $100, and at that rate, that's pretty reasonable, I'd say. These microphones right here are the Octava MK012. These microphones are a cut above. You won't be sad with the CO2s. They're great, but yeah, always different tiers for different things, and yeah, you get what you pay for. And some accessories you're going to want to pick up is the stereo mounting bar. This is going to allow you to mount the mics in various positions. You'll also want to get some couplers so you can lay the mics over each other at different heights so they're not interfering with each other. And finally, you'll want a measuring tape and a small protractor so you get those angles just right. And method number 5, which I think is the best option, that's getting a accordion microphone installed inside of the accordion. Difficulty, it's hard to do, but once you have it done, it's probably the easiest option because it's just built into the accordion and it's great. My recommendation would be the harmonic microphone system. They have all different levels, but this system is by far the best in the game. If you're gonna do it, you may as well do it right, and harmonic is the way to go. Basically, the biggest pro that I see with this system is that it reduces but also practically eliminates feedback. And with systems like this, other systems like this, you will get a lot of feedback. Okay, and right now I'm gonna turn the speaker around and give it the feedback stress test. Nothing, not a lick of feedback. I'm like 4 inches away from it, not a lick of feedback. That is insane. There's stereo and mono options with some of their systems. So there's a little switch that you can go between the mono and stereo option. So what that means is rather than just having a single cable that comes out, I mean, you have the 1/4 inch cable right here. If you're doing stereo, you would use a Y cable, a split cable, and you can run that into different channels. This could potentially be good for recording, or even using it with pedals. If you want to apply an effect to the keyboard, if you want to apply a different effect to the bass, you can run it into different pedals, and that's something I've done before, which is it's pretty neat. You can't do that with everything, but this system allows you to do that. And of course, with this, there are drawbacks. I mean, these systems are not cheap. They're some of the most expensive systems out there, but I mean, what you're getting is I think, well worth it, especially when it comes to the feedback thing. If you can pay a little bit more and never have to deal with feedback, I would do that all day. So again, the installation is going to be difficult. You're going to have to find somebody to install this, and or you could do it yourself like I did, but it takes forever. And then you could also mess it up and like totally wreck it and like void your, like you don't get a warranty if you do it yourself. So I don't know. I did make a video on this whole topic, and I did the installation, and I show you an overview of how I did the installation. So it's something to check out to at least see if like you think you could do it. I mean, if you don't have the option of taking it to an accordion shop, if you don't want to send it out, this might be your only option. And if you do have just a little bit of experience with tools, you might be able to pull it off. Another con would be replacing the battery. The 12-volt battery is going to sit in the bass compartment, and to change it, you have to disassemble the accordion, disassemble some of the bass mechanism, and then get in there and pull it out, and it's not easy to do. So that is another con. But I would say a big tip would be, if you are going to get this installed professionally, have them install a battery door. This is something that could be done at Potosa Accordions, where I got mine installed. They're able to carve out a section of the instrument where they install a battery door, and it's as simple as opening up a door, pulling out the battery, and throwing a new one in. And that's such a lifesaver in terms of convenience. If you're on stage and all of a sudden your light goes off and it's like, oh, like, I have to change my battery now. What do? You don't have time to do that. So you're going to want the battery door. And another tip too, if you're buying an accordion, if you're considering an accordion in the future, just get the installation done out the gate, because you're going to save money. Chances are they'll waive some of the installation fees. I know Potosa does that. They take off some money if you get it installed when you purchase the accordion. So that's another thing to consider. And finally, option number 6, the last one, is it's in a league of its own, but it's the electric accordion. This isn't for everybody, but if you're performing a lot, you might want to consider it, because it is a very easy thing to use. It's stupid easy to use. You just plug it in like you would any old electric guitar, and you're good to go. No feedback. And there's a whole slew of other pros to it. I mean, you can plug in headphones, you can monitor it, you can practice at night with headphones, left and right channels out, recording with a USB stick. There's plenty of reasons why you would consider something like this, but you're getting away from what an accordion is. Essentially, this is replicating this instrument that is hard to replicate. Even an electric accordion, it's not quite the same. The bellows don't move the same way, and it doesn't breathe and respond like an accordion does. So it's very different. I guess one of the biggest cons is they're expensive. You have to buy a whole different accordion. If you already have one, this is going to be the most expensive way to mic up an accordion. I don't know if I would recommend Roland. I know they're starting to phase these out. I don't think they're offering the repair services anymore. And I don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling about a product like that, especially if you're spending that much money. If something goes wrong, who are you going to turn to? Some other options, Bugari bought the licensing to Roland, and they offer the Bugari Evo. It's basically the same accordion repackaged, and it's a little bit more premium because it's got a wooden body instead of a plastic body. So yeah, you could get that. It is going to be even more expensive than the Roland. And then I guess the final option, which just came out, I'm excited about this. It's the Korg accordion. So I'm editing this video and I realize I know nothing about these Korg accordions. They came out 6 months ago and I kind of wrote it off as just another electric accordion. How good could it be? Well, they've improved a lot. I've had the 8X, I've had the 4X, I've had the 1X, each getting progressively worse the cheaper you get. And I think the biggest thing was it didn't feel like an accordion because of that bellow sensitivity. It wasn't quite there. I just tuned into Matthias's video and it seems like that was addressed, and there's a whole laundry list of other things to be excited about with this accordion. But really, it's great to know that there's another company out there that's taking on the challenge of making an electric accordion, and I really feel like this company is the way to go after doing some research on it. I think it's just about the same price as the Bugari Evos, possibly even cheaper. And yeah, I think this is the way to go. If you're gonna get an electric accordion, do the research, watch Matthias's video. I'll have the link in the description, and yeah, let's get back to the video. That really is like the final option on this frontier of all the possibilities on how to mic an accordion. If you want a complete comprehensive guide to what we went over, I know we went over a lot, head on over to squeezeandthanks.com, check out the blog that I wrote up. You'll have a printable version where you can compare and contrast the pros and cons and all of the best use case scenarios for each of these methods. So head on over there. Before you do, click the like button. That would help get this video out so more people would benefit from the information we went over. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be awesome. Click that bell notification so you can tune in next week for next week's video, how to record an accordion. So it's a little bit similar, but also very different. We're going to get into the technical aspects of things, and I think you guys are going to learn a lot. So thank you so much. See you then.